and you're thinking, oh, man, it just gets worse and worse for this guy who's on pace for, I believe, 56 points on the season after going pointless again against Pittsburgh. And it's it's something, man. He's playing with Bobby McMahon and Max Domi now. He's had a million different line mates this year. 6 different guys have started a game on his right side, probably close to that same number on the left side, and they just can't find anything that has stuck to this point. And it's got to be a major concern going forward because the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't going to win consistently if Auston Matthews is performing at a 56-point pace. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, run that back for a second. Like, we are living in a world where Connor McDavid today has 67 points. And Auston Matthews, who not too long ago was in the conversation as maybe the 1A to Connor's 1 as the 2 best players in this league, he's on pace for 56.
Yeah.
McDavid has 67. Matthews is on pace for 56. Think about that.
Like McDavid has 31 points in his last 11 games.
In the month of December, he has 31 points. And Matthews,
I think
right
23, 24 on the season, something like that. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a staggering stat. It's a testament to the greatness of McDavid, no doubt, but it's also a testament to the lackluster, that might be complimentary, performance of Auston Matthews so far in 2025.
Well, and that's like we were talking the other day, you and I sitting here before they fired Mark Savard about, and we had Struddy on and we were talking about, hey, we didn't know if they were going to fire Savard. We thought maybe they would fire Berube. They had to do something to somehow jumpstart this team that was absolutely sleeping at the switch. And so we said, well, look at the model, right? The model was the Edmonton Oilers 2 years ago, 3-9-1. And what do? They fire Woodcroft, they bring in Knobloch, and it's been relatively smooth sailing ever since. 2 straight cup appearances. Sadly, no wins, but an awfully good run in both those seasons. So maybe that's the model, right? Thing is, though, when you do something like that, you have to have confidence that your guy, your number one guy, has another gear, that your number one guy can carry the team if need be. Because no matter who the coach is, guess what? In this league, sometimes your number one guy has to carry you. And for the Maple Leafs, I think this is the number one issue of the season, AK. The number one guy ain't carrying him anywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, he's being carried by teammates that are having better years than him. He's being carried by the fact that, they've had pretty damn good goaltending when it's been good. He's being carried by the fact that, there's other issues with this team that are being highlighted, including the rash of injuries, including, the fact that a lot of people are blaming the coach, including the fact that a lot of people are blaming the general manager. But I think the general manager, the coach, everybody else around this team would also say, if they were being honest with a little truth serum, a little eggnog and rum into the system, that, hey, what do you expect us to do if our best guy, our highest paid guy, is essentially playing like he's just another guy?
And the Maple Leafs have put themselves in a position here where they need to leap a bunch of teams to get back into the Eastern Conference playoff picture. You look at yesterday, everybody in the East was picking up points. So, yeah, you could win games, but you need to do it over a sustained period of time, and you're going to need some help to get back into that conversation. And for the Leafs, they need Matthews to be much better. Obviously, I would say they need Matthew Knies to be much better as well. We haven't talked a lot about that. He played 12 minutes last night.
Yeah.
Matthew Knies, they just gave him a, $7 by $7.75 million contract extension. That's big money. And he's playing on the third line with Nicholas Waugh playing 12 minutes in what's the team's most important game of the season. That's a concern. And we were talking about this before we came on the air, the U.S. Olympic team, and could Matthew Knies be a part of it? There's no chance in hell Matthew Knies is a part of that conversation. I'm sure before the season you thought maybe if Matthew Knies continued his ascent that we saw at the end of last year into the playoffs, then sure, he definitely could be. But the way that he's played so far this year, he's definitely taken a step back, which is not unexpected, right? Young players, it's not linear, right? You don't just go up and up and up and up and up.
Well, you kind of hope
you hope you do in a perfect world, but that's not always how it goes. Knies had a great start at 5-on-5, was producing a bunch of points playing with Matthews, but he's been very, very quiet. I think 3 goals in his last 21 games, 22 games. He's not been producing offense. So that's another key cog, right? You talk about the 4 players you counted on for offense. Matthews, way below a point a game. Knies is not producing offense the way you'd like. Tavares started off so well, but he's really slowed down here as the second half of the first half, if you want to call it that, has gotten underway. And Nylander, I mean, I'm not really sure how you'd assess Nylander overall. He's got a lot of points, but clearly there's more there for consistency. So this is a team that wants to come back, and you look at their schedule coming back. It's a lot. There's 3 Eastern Conference opponents, including Ottawa on Saturday night. They play Jersey. They play the Islanders. They play the Winnipeg Jets. There's a lot of quality teams that they're going to have to go through here, and I'm skeptical. I am skeptical, and it's great to see they beat Pittsburgh, but that's a team they've owned all year long and isn't very good to begin with. They're going to need their best players to come back from this Christmas break and be their best players once again. And if they don't, well, we know where this is going.
It's the same old story, right? It's follow the money. And for years we had the obsession with the core 4 and 50% of the salary cap and all that, and it's changed now because Marner's not part of the equation because Tavares took the big, salary cut to stay in Toronto, going from what he was making to now 4.3. But you look at it, like, go down the list of their highest paid forwards, right? Matthews at 13.25, massively underperforming. Willie at 11.5. Okay, we'll leave the jury out on him. I'm sure there are nights where Craig Berube wishes he was playing a little better. Matthew Knies, third highest paid forward, to your point. Disappointing season at 7.75. John Tavares has fallen off considerably after a very
They rode him a lot when Matthews was out. He was playing probably more than he should have.
And he did his part.
He did
his part. And then this is where it gets ugly. Max Domi finally shows up last night after not having scored since before Halloween, but that's $3.75 million on the cap. And by the way, not just this year, but 2 more years to come. Matias Michelli finally shows up last night, scores a goal, but has been a healthy scratch for many, many games. Way too many games for a guy who makes $3.425 million. Dakota Joshua, $3.25 million. Another guy who has grossly underperformed expectations from when he was acquired in the offseason. So you go down that list and you start saying, like, how is this the coach's fault? Like, these guys just haven't
dead last power play.
Haven't been performing to the level they were expected to perform. Now, I'm sure you can speak to player advocates, and I know this for a fact, who will say, yeah, but the coach isn't put in a position to succeed. And look, there's always, both sides. There's always 2 sides to that story. There's always a way to point fingers, and the finger pointing's already started, and Mark Savard, took the finger to the chest in a way nobody wants to. But man, I just look at those. I look at that salary list and I look at the performances and I say, this isn't good enough. And how can that not be at least, 50%, 60%, 70% on the player?